So, welcome to Bridging Generations in Sales and Outreach. I am your host, Butch Nicholson, and this is the show for Gen Xers and baby boomers who don't care about the fluff. They want to know the truth. And the truth is, the buyer's journey has changed, but your experience is still the defining difference that you have. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. And I am excited to have Daniel Chadwick on the call and, or on the show. I'm sorry. And Daniel, this is the best endorsement I can give Daniel. I met Daniel probably 5 years ago, and he has been my insurance agent ever since then. And I trust him implicitly with with all my property and casualty insurance needs. Uh, so with that, let me introduce Daniel Chadwick. And Daniel, tell us a little bit about your story, your professional story, how you got from where you started to where you are today.
Yeah. First off, thanks so much for having me, Butch. Excited to be on. So really, I got my start. I knew I wanted to be in the business realm. I went to the University of Georgia, and I was presented an opportunity for an internship where I ran basically an exterior painting company. So that's where I fell in love with the business, having a team, being in control, all that stuff. So I knew I wanted to kind of continue that after school, and was open for whatever. Went to the career fairs. I actually met a fraternity brother who was a State Farm agent. Told him everything I was looking for in a career, and insurance. It kind of checked off all the boxes. So I started at State Farm, was there for a few years, making 150 cold calls a day, trying to convince people to spend a little bit of their time to save some money on insurance. Was there for a couple years, made the leap of faith, opened up my own independent insurance agency a little over 6 years ago now. So I've been independent for that time. Kind of been able to transition from doing what's in a carrier's best interest to doing what's in my client's best interest. So I've been going strong for 6 years now. Got a business partner. His name's Joe. He was a fraternity brother with me at Georgia. We've got a little under 3,000 clients, a little under 6 million in premium. So we've been blessed to grow and grow a successful agency. And now we're looking to hire and keep it going in the years to come.
Daniel, tell the audience a little bit about your team.
Yeah, so right now it's just me and Joe. So we're trying to stay lean and mean. We're creating basically like an encyclopedia, a game plan for our hires that they can kind of use as a crutch. Of course, we're going to be here to answer questions, but we're kind of in the process of getting that going and setting it up. So when we do hire, that we've got the tools for success for them to hit the ground running.
Great. Hey, I want to tell our audience, please excuse me. I have acute bronchitis, and I could lose my voice at any moment. So my voice is usually not this gravelly. So Daniel, over the last, I don't know how long, 2 years, year and a half, data has really become like everybody talks about data. You got to have the data. You got to have the data.
Yep.
And I believe that data is important, but I'm not sure it's the most important thing.
Yep. I would agree. For me, my training, how I was raised, at the end of the day, it's all relationship based, how well you can connect with people and build the relationships and build the comfortability, build the trust, all that stuff. It kind of just falls into place once you set that foundation and build the groundwork. So while data is great, it can kind of set you in the right direction. I'm with you. It's a limiting factor if you can't build the relationship and get to know the person.
You know, the one thing I was taught when I first came in, first real sales job I had, which was 45 years ago, was people want to buy from someone they know. Don't laugh. Daniel's not even 45 years old. So share. So what I know, people want to buy from someone they know, like, and trust. And that's the one thing that hasn't changed. And if you're a Gen Xer or a baby boomer, that's what you were taught. The way we do that has changed, but I believe that is still true at the end of the day.
Yes. No, I agree. I think it's kind of changed a little bit to the point where that they want to like the person they're doing business with, but they also want that reciprocating factor. They want to feel liked in return. So having that both-sided connection, I think it really sparks and improves that sentiment as well.
So, Daniel, one thing I found working with, I work with a lot of CEO founders, sales leaders, and I ask them, who's your ideal client? What's your ideal client profile? Who are you going for? And they all say they know, but very few of them can actually tell me what it is. And I think they have no idea. And if your market's everybody, your market's nobody.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's a genuine thought that they think they know who their customer is, but that thought might be 10 or so years behind. People are changing, technology is changing, everyday life is changing, everything's constant. So you really got to just keep your pulse on it by talking to people and figuring out pain points. And I mean, the biggest thing is listening. At the end of the day, if you give your clients the stage and let them talk and let them kind of go through what's important, what they're looking for, they'll tell you what their deterrents are, what their selling factors are, what their objections are. So if you can listen and be active in your listening, that's a lot of it, because it's changing.
Daniel, you said what I believe is a really important thing. You said if you listen, they'll tell you what they need. And I believe buyers will always tell us what we need if we ask good questions and shut our mouths.
Yep, for sure. Asking the right questions is huge.
If people don't appreciate you just like vomiting up all this information on them, and that's what a lot of salespeople want to do.
Yeah. It's a fine line between showing your value and that you know what you're talking about, but also letting them shine through as well.
So we talked about data being important, maybe not as important as some people make it. And I know that's not the number one thing for you, but how are you using data these days?
Yeah. I mean, the big thing, obviously, conversion rate, what people you talk to that you're quoting and you're trying to win their business, how many are you actually winning? What the package level is. Are you just helping somebody out with their auto insurance? Are you able to package and get their homeowners? Are you able to add an umbrella if they have jewelry? Obviously, the more lines of business that you can earn, the stickier the business is, the better the client relationship is, the more profitable it's going to be. So it's using the data, kind of fine tune my process and figure out where am I missing the boat? Where do I need to kind of dive in more on? What kind of just using that to figure out my process and what's lacking or areas to tweak it to improve it.
So, Daniel, I know from my experience, there are a lot of companies, a lot of salespeople who just think if I make enough calls, if I send out enough emails, that the customers will come. I think that is a way. I don't want to say it's a waste of time. And there's some people who can make that work, but I do believe there's an easier way.
Yeah, I agree completely. So at the end of the day, it's the law of large numbers. The more people you call, the more opportunities you get, the more success you're going to have. But that same person that is making those same calls, if they're more intentional with who they're calling, if their target market is more specific and more segmented, they might be able to make 30%, 50% less calls and have the same number of conversations and the same success rate. So you're lowering your at bats, but you're increasing your hits, your on base percentage, your average. It's all going up, and you're seeing the same results. It's just taking less activity. So yes, I'm a firm believer that if somebody's persistent and they put in the work, they're going to see success. It's just at what level of success is that going to be? And you can tailor that to targeting specific people or tweaking your sales process and making it better. And those marginal improvements are going to make life easier.
How do you and your partner decide how you're going to do that?
Yeah, that's difficult. We go back and forth on that. I've gotten to the point where I generate a lot more business by word of mouth now. My partner came from the football industry, so he's new to insurance last 2 or 3 years. So he's doing great. He's building the relationship still. He's getting his name out there, networking, all that stuff. But once you build your book to a certain level where you have the clients, they're calling you, we're reshopping it, we're making sure they're in the best spot, a lot more interactions. It basically gives you an opportunity to wow them and to give them a remarkable experience, where then it's like, hey, did I answer all your questions? Was I able to assist you? Everything all good? Yes, you were awesome. Thanks so much. Okay, amazing. Next time you talk to your neighbor, or when you're on lunch break and talking to your coworkers, if you could just interject my name, tell them how I was able to help you out, drop the market, I would love an introduction, see if I could help them out the same way you could. And tailoring those asks to the clients that you're trying to grow your book with. We all know there's clients that are more work than others. So tailoring your ask to the referrals to the clients that you want to build your book with, being intentional with that, it's just going to make your life easier down the road. So I've kind of transitioned to more referral, word of mouth from clients. I still have plenty of referral partners, realtors, lenders, financial advisors, accountants, people that have influence with their clients that are sending me regular business that I love and are amazing, and it's awesome. But word of mouth is equally as awesome. So it's just figuring out what's going to generate the best referrals, the best clients, and that's going to be the least intrusive on your daily activities.
Daniel, we haven't talked about this, but I know you do a great job on that. Salespeople will appreciate what I'm going to say, and it's a little abrupt, and I don't mean it to be. But how do you train your customers to be good referral sources for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in my wrap-up email, I always have the greatest compliment. The greatest compliment is a referral of my services. So I'm always kind of teeing it up that, hey, like, I love to help people. I love to save people money, make sure their families are protected what they want to. But at the end of the day, I'm really only aggressive with asking for referrals for my top tier clients, the people that I think that they're going to send me their best friends who are going to be just like them. They're going to be on it. They're going to want high liability limits. They're going to make sure their family's protected. They're going to call me with serious questions. They're not going to blow me up at 10 o'clock at night. Just kind of cues and flags and things that you're talking to when you're talking to people and getting to know them as individuals. The more that you mesh and connect with someone and the more of a relationship you build, the higher the increased likelihood and the increased desire I have to get referrals from them, because I know I'm going to mesh with their clients if they're anything like that, if they're referrals, if they're anything like this client was.
Well, and I would think that most people that refer someone to you are referring somebody similar to them.
Yep, exactly.
So you shared a situation with us where there was a real mind shift. And I believe all of us need to be open to making mind shifts all the time. But share that story with our audience.
Yeah, I mean, so are you talking about from transition from State Farm to independent, or?
Yeah, well, you talked about the volume selling as opposed to value connection.
Yeah, so it takes a toll, just dialing for dollars and just calling people and giving your little elevator pitch and trying to convince them to spend 5 minutes of their time to save money on insurance. It's a lot better of a value to say, hey, I'm an independent broker. I represent 20 plus carriers. I can periodically shop the market and make sure that you're always in the best spot, so you're not on your downtime. I know you work hard. You're going to want to play with your kids. You're going to want to spend time with your loved ones. You're going to want to just hang out and relax and read or watch TV or whatever. The value of having me with all of these carriers and being an advocate for my client, not to mention if something doesn't go right with a claim or whatever, they have me in their corner to advocate for them. at renewals, the insurance market, it's like the wild, wild west. Things are always changing, pricing's going up. So having all of your data and to just go into my system and hit refresh and it shoot it back what carriers are offering, what pricing. That's the biggest value proposition really I would say I have is that ability to periodically check and make sure they're in their best spot as well as be their advocate. So just getting people to realize that that's not how all insurance works. That's a value to them. So figuring out ways that, and talking to people will say, I can never get a hold of my agent. I can never talk to anybody on the phone. I can never get a text back. Like figuring out what's important to them and tailoring your game plan and your solution to what fits their needs. It's all about adding value at the end of the day. So any way you can do that, whether it's being friendly, being responsive, being knowledgeable, all that stuff is huge.
Yeah. So one thing, Daniel, that seemed was different to me when I started dealing with you. I think we've only met once. And
2 times, yeah. The Bible study and turkey trot. Yeah.
But I came into your office one time as your client. And I haven't been back.
Yep.
And I know I haven't signed anything with you and me sitting at the desk.
Yep.
And what I would say is you made it very, very easy. Yes. And I've had a couple of things happen where I needed to use my insurance. And every time I did, the person that I was dealing with said, "Oh, you're insured by so-and-so. This will be easy."
Yeah. Yep. And that's, at the end of the day, that's probably the biggest value. Now that you're saying that is the ease, the onboarding, the insurance. Not many people want to deal with it. Not many people want to talk about it. So it's insurance isn't overly complicated. Once you study it, once you learn it, it all kind of falls into place. So I know what questions to ask my clients to make it as easy as possible for them. Name, date of birth, address, roof age, drivers. And then I go on the back end and I figure out the dimensions of the house, whether it has a basement, what percentage is finished, updates to the house, anything that I can do that I'm not having to ask those questions to my clients and I'm able to source it and be resourceful and figure it out on my own. That adds value because they're going about their day doing what they need to do. And I'm doing what I need to do to figure out what's going to be their best option. So we do the DocuSigns on the back end, reaching out to the carriers, all that stuff. So the client, all they have to do really is pick a start date, make sure they're good with the coverages, get the payment schedule processed, complete the DocuSigns, and then keep an eye out for emails, correspondence from me or my team.
So Daniel, how would you suggest to people that aren't up on their digital game on how to get up to date on their digital team and get those benefits?
Yeah. Strategic partnerships. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So you can spend countless hours YouTubing and trying to figure out the newest AI trends and how to streamline processes. But there's plenty of people out there that are experts in the industry. And for a few $100s a month, they will basically walk with you and help you integrate everything, take that off your plate, give you that time and make your job easier. So I'm fortunate that Goosehead, I own an agency with Goosehead. They're a franchise opportunity. There's a corporate office. They're a publicly traded company. I own a franchise of Goosehead. So they help with all the back end tech support, statements, reports, all that stuff. I'm very lucky that they support me with. But I have plenty of friends that I can go to and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. What are your thoughts? How can you help me get a better process for this?" So building a strong team around you so you're focusing on what you're best at and letting other people pick up the slack that might not be your biggest strength.
So Daniel, how do you so I know you sell several different lines of insurance.
Yep.
And I'm sure you have people like me who just own a house and car, and you have people that own a whole lot of stuff that has to be insured, probably even things that can blow up or have wrecks.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember one time I asked an insurance agent. This is before I knew you. I said, "Who are your best customers?" And he said, "If they do anything that can kill somebody or blow up." But
that's one way to look at it.
How do you segment your markets and decide on the time you're going to deal with those markets?
Yeah. So I'm thinking my best client. So my best client, and Power Course kind of helped me with this, is taught me what to look for and how to identify. My best clients usually have a strong family connection. So they don't necessarily always have kids, but they're very close with their parents or brother and sisters, if not. So they'll go on like regular vacations with them, family reunions, that kind of stuff. They usually have a strong college affiliation or sports team affiliation. So whether it's where they went to school, or they really love the Atlanta Braves or the Detroit Red Wings or whatever, they have some sort of affiliation with a sports team or a college. They usually have multiple properties. So whether it's a mountain house or a rental property or a lake house, or they share a home at the beach, that's one of the characteristics. Usually they take regular vacations. They have family traditions. So whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or any other holiday, they usually have set things that they do, whether it's going to their in-laws' house or going to their grandparents' house or hosting at their house or doing a special trip. Those are things that typically my best clients have. And a lot of the times people reach out at renewals. If it's a new customer, I guess new and existing customers, they get the price shock of it going up or something changing. The roof could be switching to actual cash value. Usually that renewal notice is the big indicator to, hey, I should reach out to somebody, or I should start figuring out what to do, or it's time to circle back with Daniel and figure out if we're in the best spot. So those are spread out all throughout the year. Usually after tax season, it starts to pick up towards summer. People buying new cars. People usually buy homes, not usually, but a lot of times they buy homes in the summer when their kids aren't in school, so they're not switching midterm. There's kind of different times of the year that I see more things. Right after the holidays, people will get jewelry and they'll call me for personal articles policies. But there's not, it's kind of fresh. There's not really a specific time of year that, the holidays kind of slow down for a little bit because people are resting and all that stuff, but it's pretty, every day's, you never know what you're going to get.
So Daniel, we're getting near the end of our time. I want to, there are two questions I want to ask you as we wrap up. The first one is, if somebody knows that they're not where they need to be in the digital world, what would you suggest, like as first steps, or how to take the steps to get where they need to be?
Yeah. So are we talking like struggling with working, like going through websites, or are we talking just like not sure how to maximize their data for sales processes? Where are they completely new?
Okay. What you just said.
I would say reach out. If you don't have a system in place, if you're not sure where to start, your options are either to try to figure it out yourself on Google or YouTube or ChatGPT or whatever, and try to figure it out yourself. Reach out to people that are in your network. I can drop my contact information, but there's multiple people I know that can help with technology and implementing it in your business, and making sure that the firewall and everything is secure, so your client's data is secure. And then from there, implementing processes that they're going to make your life easier, streamline your business, and make it easier to attract and retain clients.
Yeah. And what I would add to that is, don't stop what you're doing. If what you're doing is working, keep doing that. You may have to cut back on the time a little bit to have time, but the more you can take advantage of the tools that'll work for you, the better off you'll be.
Definitely. And
that's the way to grow. That's the way to grow the business.
For sure.
So Daniel, one last question. Business wise, if Daniel today could tell Daniel 10 years ago one thing, what's the one thing you would tell Daniel 10 years ago?
The power of compounding interest, whether it's in your marketing, in your development, the more that you put in now and the more sacrifice you make now, the exponentially greater it's going to be in the future. It's just like the retirement accounts. It's slowly. And then after 20 years, it starts going up and up. And that's the same thing with personal development, professional development, going to the gym, reading, learning. That's anything. You're gonna be at a plateau, what it feels like, for a while before all of a sudden there's a click, and then it just takes off. So put in the work, trust the process, do the activity, but do it intentionally with in the back of your mind, how can I tweak this? How can I improve this? What am I doing to improve this process? So I may be working a little less hard, but I'm working smarter and my results are improving without having to do as much.
That's great. I wish somebody had told me that 10 years ago. I wish somebody had told me that 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So Daniel, if someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yep. I just posted my email and phone number to Allah below. You're welcome. You can reach out, email, text. You can find me on LinkedIn, just Daniel Chadwick. Yeah, I'm an open book. So feel free, call, email. That's my cell phone too. So you can text me any way I can help or offer guidance or extend my network. I'm more than happy to.
Well, thanks, Daniel. If you want to reach out to me, you can do it on LinkedIn. You can email me, or you can call me. And one thing I'll tell you, I may not be able to help you. We may not be able to help you, but if we can't, we will. We probably know somebody who can, and we're more than happy to point you in that direction. So I want to wrap up with this. We said that this show was for Gen Xers, baby boomers, who you got to where you are doing what you're doing, and what you're doing is good. But the truth is, the buyer's journey has changed. And this is not about starting over. It's just about adapting. So take a look at your business. Have you identified who your ideal prospect is? Do you have the processes in place to maximize the digital opportunities that are out there now? And do you understand the buyer's journey? Because if you don't understand the buyer's journey, you've lost before you started. So thanks for being here this week. Daniel, another thanks to you. And we'll see y'all in next week.